Uh, no one remembered. So where I stopped in the last class? What was the concept? Last concept. Is my voice is audible?
It is audible, sir.
Yeah. Can anyone tell me what was the last concept? No idea. I I hope you people know it. Like for unit one, we are done with the unit one, and I started new unit as well. So that is the unit 4, and I gave some brief description about the 8086 pin diagram. Hope you people remember. So in my last class, I explained the microprocessor and the central processing unit, and I concluded that class with the 8086 features of 8086 microprocessor. Okay, fine. So we'll revise one more time in today's class. Yeah. So this was the last concept I explained. So these are the slides same I'm using them. So about 808 microprocessor, and in 2 units we are going to see the microprocessor 8086 microprocessor instruction sets, addressing mode, architecture, pin diagram, programming model, and what are the various uses and what is the microprocessor. So these are the these are the various things that we are going to see in unit 4 and the unit 5. So it's purely on 8086 microprocessor. So I gave a difference between the CPU and the microprocessor. The CPU will consist of ALU, CU, arithmetic logical unit, control unit, memory unit, and input output unit. Okay, so if you are bringing all this together, then we are calling it as a single chip, that is a microprocessor. Whereas in case of the central processing unit, so these all are the individual circuits. Okay, ALU, CU, MU, IP, OP, these all are individual circuits. Whereas in case of the microprocessor, we are bringing it all of them together onto the common chip, which we are calling a system on chip. So we are calling it as a microprocessor. So what is the microprocessor? So the microprocessor is an electronic device or electronic circuit, so which is a register based, clock driven, and the programmable uh, circuit which takes the input in the form of binary and process it and gives the information in the form of binary. So that is the definition for a microprocessor. A microprocessor is an electronic device and which is a register based, clock driven, and the programmable circuit which takes the inputs in the form of binary and process it and gives the information, that means output, back to the user in the form of binary. So that is a microprocessor. And if you are talking about the speed of the microprocessor, the speed of the microprocessor is depending upon the buses, how many buses we are using. So there are 3 buses are there, so address bus, control bus, and the data bus. So the address bus is responsible for taking the address, which is a unidirectional, and the control bus is responsible for issuing the control signals to all the devices which are under control of the microprocessor. And the data bus is a bidirectional. Why? Because it will sometimes it will read the data and sometimes it will write the data. So that's the reason we are calling it as a bidirectional data bus. And address bus is unidirectional. That means it will read the address and it will not write any address. So address sorts are fixed and always it will read the address lines. And the control bus, so it will issue the signals or it will issue the control signals like read, write, okay, and a copy. So this kind of signals it will issue. So the control bus. And the speed of the microprocessor is purely measured on the data bus, whether it is a 4 bits or 8 bits or 16 bit or 32 bit or 64 bit. How many bits at a time a microprocessor can read. So that is used for identifying the speed of the microprocessor. If a microprocessor is reading 4 bits at a time, then we will call it as a 4-bit microprocessor. If a microprocessor is reading 8 bits at a time, then we can call it as 8-bit machine. If a microprocessor is reading 16 bits at a time, then we can call it as 16-bit ALU. So in the same way, if it is reading 32 bits of the data, 32-bit ALU, so vice versa we can use. Either it is a 4-bit data or the 4-bit machine or 4-bit ALU. So any of these three terms are used for representing the speed of the microprocessor. It's a 4-bit, 8-bit, 16, 32 and 64. Based on the data transmission rates, the microprocessors are classified into 5 types: 4, 8, 16, 32 and 64-bit microprocessors. Hope you understood. And the first microprocessor that was released by the Intel Corp, and the microprocessor name is Intel 4004, and which is a 4-bit microprocessor. What is the meaning of 4-bit microprocessor? Tell me, what is the meaning of 4-bit microprocessor? What happened? The people are there in the class. What is the meaning of 4-bit microprocessor? Satvik, are you there? 3005. Nikhil? Why you people have decided to not respond to any of the queries which were asked in the computer organization class? Will you people give me the response back? Rule number 14, rule number 12. Are you there?
Yes, sir.
What happened? What was the issue? You people
No.
are not able to hear my voice. Yeah.
No, sir.
Then you didn't understand the concept?
No, sir, we'll have to revise a little bit. It's been long.
Fine. So it's a simple. What is a 4-bit or 8-bit microprocessor? Suppose if it is taking 4 bits of data at a time, then we can call it as a 4-bit microprocessor. Data transmission rates. So based on the data transmission rate, we are telling, so it will take 4 bits, then it is a 4-bit microprocessor. If it is taking 8 bits, then it is a 8-bit microprocessor. Okay. In the similar way, Intel has developed its first own kind of the microprocessor, that is Intel 4004. It's a chip number 4004, and which is a dual inline package. We will call it as DIP, and the microprocessor was developed by the Ted Off. He's an Intel engineer and the scientist. So the first basic microprocessor is capable of handling 4 bits of data at a time. That means half byte, we can say. How many bits we will have in a byte?
8.
8 bits we will have in a byte. Okay, so it is capable of handling half byte of the data. That means 4 bits we will call and nibble. So the 4 bits we will call it as a nibble. And so it is designed in the year 1971, and which is having the 4 data lines and 12 address lines. So the data lines are bidirectional and address lines are unidirectional. Unidirectional means only one way. Bidirectional means it can read and write the data. Okay, and the major applications of this 4004 microprocessor, it is used in the calculators, scientific calculations, and next one is the ATM. So the one which we are using in our real life. So in that ATMs, they used this 4004 microprocessor, and it is a 16-bit microprocessor, like 16 pins microprocessor. So together it will have 16 pins, and the dual input inline pins means it can take and it can send the data. So that we are calling it as a DIP. So DIP will be a packed and it can take input and output at a time. So this is the first microprocessor and it is capable of handling 4 bits at a time. So next one we are having similar like various microprocessors in the same way. So after the implementation of 4004 microprocessor, so the next version released is the 8008 microprocessor.
Sir,
So yeah,
your screen is not being shared right now.
yeah. So hope it is shared now.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so here like we have, so I told this only. So it's the 1971 and the 4-bit, 4 data lines and 12 address lines, and the applications are calculator and the ATM, and it's a 16-pin microprocessor. Each and every microprocessor will have the dedicated pins, so specific pins we will have. So at the same time 8086 microprocessor, if we see that microprocessor is also having 40 pins. So in the similar way 4004 microprocessor is having the 16 pins. Okay, and later we have a lot of microprocessor versions. So the 4004, 8008 and 8088 and 8086. So which one we are studying here? We have the 8086 microprocessor. So we are studying about the 8086 microprocessor and 8085. These are advanced microprocessor 80386 and 80486. So we'll not see all this microprocessor, just we are concentrating on only one microprocessor, that is 8086 microprocessor. And we need to know the features and the processing power and what are the additional functionalities that this 8086 microprocessor is having. So each and everything we need to study about this 8086, and just other microprocessors we will not concentrate. If any question is there from what are the advanced microprocessors like, so 80386 and 80486 are the advanced microprocessors. So sometimes you'll get the 2-mark question from this. And as I told 4004 microprocessor, I explained all of these things. And one more is the 8085 microprocessor. So it is capable of handling 8 bits of data at a time. So 8 bits of data at a time. And it is having 16 address lines. So the data lines are bidirectional and address lines are unidirectional, and total 40 pins we will have for this 8086 microprocessor. And next, the advanced or enhanced version of 8086 microprocessor is a 8086 microprocessor. The extended version, sometimes we will call it as extended version of 8085 or enhanced version of 8085 or advanced version of 8085 microprocessor is 8086 microprocessor. So the 8086 microprocessor can handle 16 bits of data at a time, and it is having 20 address lines, and it is also having the 40 pins. But the main advantage of 8086 microprocessor is it will support the co-processor mode. So co-processor mode means one more extra processor we can attach to the 8086 microprocessor. So we can call it as dual core, quad core, octa core, hexa core. So multiple processors we can attach to one or another processor. So in that case we will call it as a co-processor mode. So the 8086 microprocessor will support co-processor mode, whereas 8085 microprocessor will not support this co-processor mode. So sometimes we may get the 2-mark question from the difference between 8085 and 8086 microprocessor. So the major differences between 8085 and 8086 microprocessor is 8085 microprocessor is an 8-bit machine and 8086 microprocessor is a 16-bit machine, and 8085 microprocessor is having 16 address lines, and 8086 microprocessor is having 20 address lines, whereas 8085 microprocessor will not support coprocessor mode and 8086 will support coprocessor mode. So these are the basic and major differences between 8085 and 8086. Sometimes you will get these differences in the 2 marks questions. Okay, write the features of 8085, write the features of 8086 microprocessor, or what is the difference between 8085 and 8086 microprocessor. Okay, and next question you can expect from here is what are the advanced microprocessors? So 80386 and 80486. So these are the 4 possible questions you can expect from this slide. Hope you understood. And what are the various generations of microprocessors are there? So due to the lot of advancements in nanotechnology and semiconductors fabrication technology, when compared to the first generation of the microprocessor, like initial stages, the computer size is very big, so it is almost 1800 square feet. So due to the lot of technological advancements, gradually the size of the microprocessor is reduced. CPU and the processor and the computer size is reduced to the palm size. So if we concentrate on this various generations, so if you take first generation, so they made use of the PMOS technology. So phosphate metal oxide semiconductor technology, so we can call it as. So in the first generation, they designed and developed one of the initial stages of the microprocessor, that is a 4-bit microprocessor, and you know this one is designed by Intel in the year 4004. So 1971, and the chip number is 4004. So these all are the Intel microprocessors only, which I am showing in this slide are all are Intel microprocessors only. So Intel 4004, so which is in the first generation. And the second generation, they used the technology called NMOS. Okay, and this is the 8-bit microprocessor, we are calling them as 8-bit microprocessors. And the best examples are 8008 and 8085. These are the 2 microprocessors which they released in the second generation. And the third generation, we are calling it as a CMOS technology, and the third generation are 16-bit microprocessors, and the best example is 8086 microprocessor. The one which we are studying, it is in which generation? Tell me, the one which I am explaining, it is in which generation?
$8085 is in second and 8086 is in third generation.
Yeah, 8086 is in third generation. So we are using CMOS technology, and it is a 16-bit machine. And the 32-bit machine, so which is a more we are having more performance and the speed when compared to the 16-bit microprocessors. So that is the 4th generation. So we are calling it as HCMOS technology, and it's a 32-bit machine, and the example is a 80386. And the mobile phone processors and the Windows 10, nowadays we are making use of the advanced processors in the mobile phones as well as the laptops, right? So those are the 64-bit machines, and there are almost, I can say, we are in the 5th generation. 5th generation are the 64-bit machines, and which are having more performance and the speed compared to the first generation of the microprocessor. Okay, so the speed of the microprocessor will be measured in terms of the number of bits that can be handled at a time, handled by the particular processor at a time. Either it is 4, 8, 16, 32. So if it is a 64-bit machine, it is a more powerful machine, we can say. So we are in 5th generation microprocessors which we are using. Okay, so these are the various generations based on the technologies. What are the various technologies we are using, and example microprocessor in a particular generations. Fine. So till now I explained 2 types of the microprocessor. First one is the microprocessors, various types based on the number of bits that can handle. Yes or no? Number of bits, how many microprocessor, how many bits it can handle at a time. So based on that, the microprocessors are divided into or classified into 4, 8, 16, 32 and 64-bit microprocessor. This is also 2 marks question. What are the various microprocessors are there based on the data bus size? Okay, based on the data bus size. So we have 5, 4, 8, 16, 32 and 64. And next one, what are the various types of generations of microprocessors are there based on the various technologies? So based on the various technologies, we have 4 generations, first, second, third, fourth. And we are having the various technologies which we are used in the particular generations are like PMOS, NMOS, CMOS and HMOS. Okay, so these are the various generations of the microprocessor. And we are coming to the Intel 8086 microprocessor. So if you are talking about the Intel 8086 microprocessor, so all the students should take the one book and you have to write all these features in that book. So you can get one book and you can write all these features in your book. Are you using any notebook for writing these contents, or like simply you are sitting in front of the mobile or else a laptop? Are you noting down all of these points? Say yes or no. Are you doing it?
Yes, sir.
So you should note down all of these things in one of the notebook. Okay. And this subject is completely based on the numbers. Okay, so we have to remember all the numbers exactly. Suppose if you are talking about 8086, 8 and 16, you should remember. If you are talking about 8086, 16 and 20, you should remember. If you are doing any simple mistake in these numbers, you will not get the marks. So when you are writing the content, so each and everything will be checked when we are evaluating the answer script. Okay. So the placement of the pins and each and everything also we have to remember exactly. So we cannot misplace the one pin number with another pin number. So in that case, they will strike off the entire pin diagram or they will strike off the entire block diagram. So as it is how the diagram is there, in the same way only you have to draw and explain. Then only you will get the marks for the particular question. Okay, so if you are remembering all the pins and if you are remembering all the registers whatever we have, but if you are not placing them in the diagram properly, so even though if all words are there, so which are misplaced, so they will not consider the diagram. Okay, so this is purely related to the physical organization of the diagram. So whether we are talking about architecture or whether we are talking about pin diagram, so it is purely related to the physical organization of the various components which we are placing in a particular circuit or particular chip. So that's the reason we need to remember all those pins and the registers or the blocks exactly where they are in the diagram, and in the same way you have to represent in the answer script also. Okay, so wherein if you do a small mistake also, they will strike off the entire pin diagram. So it's very important thing. So that's the reason I am asking you to get one book when I am explaining the concept, and at the same time you should also draw and you have to make some small notes, okay, or important points you need to write. Fine. So if you refer the textbook, you can find the huge information, so it is very difficult you to understand. Okay, even one block they will give one page of information. So if you take any simple diagram, you can find 8 blocks. So if you are writing 8, if you are studying 8 pages of information and if you are able to represent 1 or 2 pages, so you need to cut short all those things. So it's better when I am explaining, you make a note of the important points, then afterwards you can refer it. Okay. So this one is like Intel 8086 microprocessor, like which is having the 16 data lines and 20 address lines, and it is developed in the year 1976 by Intel Corporation only, and which is capable of ranging 1 megabyte of the memory, 1 MB. Okay, so 1 MB of the memory. So here how we will calculate the memory and all I will tell you. So if it is any microprocessor is having the data lines, so here you can see in the last class I told that also. Just I'll tell you one more time. So if it is having 16 data lines, so for example take any of the microprocessor. Are you able to see the screen? Are you able to see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Suppose if you take any microprocessor which is having 4 bits. Okay, so the memory how we will calculate is, so the information which we are reading in the form of the binary, so the binary will have 0 and 1, so which is the 2 number, so which is a 2 number. Okay, 0 and 1, only these two things you will have in the binary information, so that's the reason you will have the 2 number. Fine. So if you want to calculate the memory occupied by that particular processor, will take 2 power how many bits it can process at a time. So here it can process 4 bits at a time. So what is the value of 2 power 4? What is the value of 2 power 4? How much? 16. So it can handle 16 bits of the memory at a time. Suppose if you are taking 8-bit microprocessor, so 2 power 8, and what is the value? Calculate and tell me what is the value for 2 power 8. How much you will get? 256. Okay, so 2 power 8 you will have 256. And if you are taking 16-bit microprocessor, tell me what is the value of 2 power 16? You people should be active in the morning session at least. It's not even 10 o'clock. Tell me what is the value of 2 power 16? Yeah, post it in the chat box if you find the value. What is the value of 2 power 16? Yeah. Fine. So the value is 65536. So that means, so which is ranging from 0 to 65535. Fine. So this is a value. So in the similar way, if you are having any 32-bit machine, okay, so you'll have 2 power 32. So here, till here we will see. So what all are these things? In the same way, so what is the data size of the 8086 microprocessor? What is the data size of 8086 microprocessor? How many data lines it can take at a time? How many data lines it will take at a time? Can put it in chat box. How many data lines we have? 16 data lines. So 16 data lines means 2 power 16. So the 2 power 16 means the value is 65536. So here you saw 65536. So if it is an 8086 microprocessor, so 2 power 16. So the address is ranging from 65536. That means 0 to 65535. So these are the completely available address lines which we have. Okay, which we have data lines. So within this range we can assign the values. So we are representing them in as a hexadecimal representation as 000 to FFFF. So 4F. So F means it is equivalent to 15 in the hexadecimal representation. And in the similar way, I am talking about the memory lines. So the memory lines, it is having 20 address lines. So based on the 20 address lines, so we can say 2 power 20. 2 power 20. So which is almost equivalent to 1 MB. So that's the reason it is having the 1 MB memory. Okay. So which is almost equivalent to 1 MB, 2 power 20. So the way how we calculated the data lines, in the similar way we can calculate the address lines also. Okay, so why we are taking 2? Because the information is represented in the form of binary. That's the reason we are taking 2 power. Okay, so here also same thing. So 1 MB of the memory it can address. Maximum 1 MB of the memory lines it can address. So 1 MB of the memory. And it will directly support the operations multiplication and the division. It will directly support the operations multiplication and the division. Whereas in case of 8085 microprocessor, we cannot perform multiplication and the division directly. The 8086 microprocessor cannot perform multiplication and the division directly. So these are not there. Okay. So but whereas in case of 8086 we are having it directly. Fine. And it can be operated in 2 modes. Minimum mode and the maximum mode. So the minimum mode and the maximum mode. So what is the minimum mode and the maximum mode? If we are having a single processor, then single 8086 processor, then we are calling it as a minimum mode. Single microprocessor if you have, then we are calling it as a minimum mode. If you are having more than two, that means more than one microprocessor, then we can call it as a maximum mode. I told you in the starting, the 8086 microprocessor can support the co-processor mode. Yes or no? Did you remember? Yes or no? Co-processor mode. See, if you are not giving response, I'll end the class immediately. Okay. So this class is not for me. I know what are the things I am teaching. So 23-24 students are there in this class. That means no one is giving the response to any of the query, means it doesn't look good. Whether are you people are sleeping or you people are not interested to attend the class. So why? What is the need of teaching class for this kind of students? It's a waste of time for me. You people are not in a mood to learn anything. Tell me what I explained about the coprocessor mode. So here I told already the microprocessor will support the coprocessor mode in the starting itself. Did you remember at least that one? Tell me what is coprocessor mode? Here it is. What I explained about the coprocessor? If you know, say yes or say no. I will tell again. What is coprocessor?
So that we can attach multiple processors.
If you are going to attach the multiple processor, then we are calling it as a coprocessor mode. So which will be supported by 8086 microprocessor. Yes. So here, so if it is a maximum mode, then we are calling it as a coprocessor mode. If it is a minimum mode, then we are calling it as a single processor. Fine. So the 8086 microprocessor, major features of 8086 microprocessor are it supports the pipeline, and which is a clock speed of having 5 megahertz to 2 to 8 megahertz, and 8086 microprocessor is having 1 to 10 megahertz, so that is an extended version. And the clock speed it can operate it with the help of 5 megahertz is one version, and 8086 2.2 2 to 8 megahertz it's a one more version. And if you want to understand clearly what is the megahertz and the gigahertz, so here I gave one point about the megahertz and the gigahertz. If any microprocessor which is capable of handling 2 billion instructions per second, then we can call it as a 2.33 gigahertz. So if any microprocessor is capable of handling 2.33 megahertz, then 2 million instructions per second. There is a lot of difference between the megahertz and the gigahertz. So which we will see in our mobile phone configurations. So 2 gigahertz and 3.2 gigahertz, especially in the laptops, we will see 3.2 gigahertz and the like 2.5 gigahertz and 3.2 like that we will see in the case of the laptops, and at the same time octa-core processor with 2 gigahertz speed we will see in the mobile phones. So the meaning for the 2 gigahertz and the 2 megahertz is this one. If any microprocessor is represented with 2 gigahertz, that means 2 billion instructions per second it can process, not per day and not per hour and not per minute. Per second it can execute 2 billion instructions. So you can imagine the speed of the microprocessor, how much powerful device it is. And in the same way, 2 megahertz means 2 million instructions per second it can process. So which one is greater, 2 billion or 2 million? Which one is greater, 2 billion instructions or 2 million instructions?
2 billion instructions.
2 billion instructions per second. So what are the important features of 8086 microprocessor? The important features of 8086 microprocessor is, so which will support the pipeline. The pipeline is nothing but, so you will have one concept and question on the pipeline. So what is the pipeline? So the pipeline is executing the multiple instructions at the same time. The concept of executing the multiple instructions at the same time will be called as a pipeline. This is a 2 marks question. Explain the concept of pipelining. What is the advantage if you execute multiple instructions at a time? It will improve the speed and performance of a system. So the major advantage of the pipeline are, so the concept, so executing, what is executing? Multiple instructions at the same time. If you are executing the multiple instructions at the same time, we are calling it as a pipeline. So if you are taking 8086 microprocessor, it is a two-stage pipeline. It is a two-stage pipeline. What are the two stages here? What are the two stages here? First one is fetch, and second one is execute. There is no decode, nothing. So directly you will have in the fetch and execute. Okay, so fetch and execute. So one instruction will be in fetch stage and one instruction will be in execute stage. Suppose if you are having 6 instructions, suppose if you have 6 instructions, so first instruction it will fetch and which will be in the fetch stage, and second instruction it will fetch and that is also in the fetch stage. By the second instruction which is in the fetch stage, okay, the first instruction will move to the execute stage. Are you understanding? Are you understanding what I am explaining? So the first instruction, suppose let us take example as the 6 instructions. Okay, if you have the 6 instructions, then if you are fetching the first instruction, obviously you are fetching the first instruction, so it will be in the fetch stage only. If you are fetching the second instruction, the first instruction will move to the execute stage and second instruction will be in the fetch stage. Okay, and if you are fetching the third instruction, the first instruction which you fetched will finish the execution and second will move to the execute stage and third will be in the fetch stage. So that concept we are calling it as a pipelining. Okay, so simultaneously we can do this. So two stages it is executing. So which will speed up the performance of the system and which will increase the speed of the execution process. So that is a major advantage with the pipelining. So this is a 2 marks question and we need to explain about these two concept in the pipelining. So what is the 8086 pipelining concept and how it will be implemented? Okay, so in 8086 microprocessor, especially it can fetch 6-byte instructions at a time. It can fetch. So why? Because we are having one queue, so that queue can capable of handling 6 instructions at a time. All those will be placed in the fetch stage, and based on the requirement, so the instructions will be moved to the execute stage. And totally it will support 256 vectored interrupts, and it is made up of 29,000 transistors. Okay, it is made up of 29,000 transistors. So these are the major features of 8086 microprocessor. So 8086 microprocessor is a 16-bit machine which is having 20 address lines, and it is implemented in the year 1976 and which can support 1 MB of the memory. Okay, and it will support directly multiplication and the division operations, and it can be operated in 2 modes. One is the minimum mode and one is the maximum mode. So the meaning of the minimum mode is single processor and meaning of the maximum mode is coprocessor. And it supports the pipelining concept. The concept of pipelining is executing multiple instructions at the same time, and it supports a 2-stage pipeline. That means fetching and the executing. So which will increase the speed and the performance of a system, and it can be operated with the clock speed of 5 megahertz and 8 megahertz and 10 megahertz. 5, 8 and 10 megahertz clock speeds. So the first one is 80865 and 8086.2 will be operated with 8 megahertz and 80861 will be operated with 10 megahertz. Okay, and I told you about this pipeline, and it is capable of fetching 6 bytes instructions at a time. Why? Because it is having instruction queue length is a 6 bytes, so it can fetch at a time 6 instructions, and total 256 vectored interrupts are there, and 29,000 transistors used for making this circuit, making this chip 8086 microprocessor. So these are the important features of 8086 microprocessor. These all are the important features of 8086 microprocessor. So just I'll show you the yeah. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, sir.
So what you are seeing a pin. This is a pin diagram of 8086 microprocessor. So from here onwards, a real story will begin. Are you able to see how many pins are there on my screen? How many are there?
40.
40 pins. So each side, how many we have? Left and right side.
20. 20.
Yeah, one side 20 and one side 20 we have. Did you observe the numbering? Did you observe the numbering where 1 is starting and where 21 is starting?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. In what shape it is starting?
1 is starting from the top and 21 is starting from the bottom.
Bottom. So did you observe this? This one. I am moving one cursor there. See this one. What is the symbol?
Curve.
Yeah, curve you are able to see. The meaning of this curve is start 1 from here to 20 and again start from down to up. That means U. It's a U shape.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the U shape is used for giving the information about the numbering starts from top to bottom and bottom to top. So that's the reason we are calling it as a U. Okay. So in this like we can remember, so first which will start from 1 to 20 and again 21 should not start from here, 21 should start from here to top. Okay. So if you remember this U, then you can remember this representation also. What some students will do, they will write 1 to 20 here and again 20 they will start from here. If you are starting 20 from here, no need of drawing the pin diagram. It's waste of time. Okay, and no one will consider that pin diagram. So what are the do's and don'ts which we need to remember when we are drawing the pin diagram? I will tell you. You need to draw this curve symbol in any of the chip diagram or any of the pin diagram whenever you are drawing it. So which is used for representing the bottom, top to bottom and bottom to top representation. And in the center of the chip pin diagram, you need to write it is which pin diagram. Either 8085, 8086, 8088, 8008 or 4004. Which pin you are drawing. That pin number should be there in the center. So you can see here like this. You are having the pin number in the center, 8086 microprocessor. Are you able to see this?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And this U representation for top to bottom and bottom to top. And next, each and every pin will have this kind of legs. So just I'll zoom in. Yeah. Are you able to see this rectangle box?
Yes, sir.
Each and every pin is having the rectangle box. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So that is used for representing the pin, single pin. Like that you will have 40 legs. So each and everything we are calling it as a leg. So total how many legs we have in this pin diagram is 40 legs we have. So sometimes we can call them as a signals also. Technically we can call them as signals. So the 40 legs you have to represent in this way. You cannot give numbers randomly and you cannot draw it is a AD14, AD15 like that you cannot do. You should draw one out rectangle box and that is used for representing the pin. So like that how many you will have? 40 legs you will have. Yes or no? 40
Yes,
legs
sir.
you will have. Yeah, these 40 legs you will have. So these are the main points which we need to remember when we are drawing the pin diagram. Okay, so what are the don'ts? So if you skip these legs, then it will create lot of confusion. If you skip the legs, it will create lot of confusion. And if you are drawing this one straight line instead of giving the U, so we will not understand from where he is going to send the signals, whether the top to bottom or bottom to top. And if you are skipping this number 8086, so we will not understand which chip it is. Okay, because most of the pin diagrams are having the 40 legs, or the 40 signals or 40 pins. So that's the reason we need to specify the chip number in the center of the chip. So when we are drawing it, okay. So each and every pin we need to explain. Each and every pin we need to explain. 40 side headings you have to give and 40 pins you have to explain for pin diagram. You know, by God's grace, you have only one pin diagram in your syllabus. But for your seniors, they have almost 10 pin diagrams and 10 block diagrams in their syllabus. Okay, but for you it is only one pin diagram and it is very easy to remember. For your seniors, they have almost 10 pin diagrams and which are almost 40 pin diagrams. In that 7 pin diagrams are 40 pins. So imagine how much tough it is to remember all those pins and their placings. Suppose if I ask you, what is the 34th pin? What is the 34th pin in 8086 microprocessor? At that time, you should able to tell the 34th pin is BHE by S7. 34th pin is BHE by S7. The use of the 34th pin is bus I enable and status signal 7. Which pin is used for controlling the 8086 microprocessor in minimum and maximum mode? At that time you should tell 33 is the pin number, sir, which is used for operating the 8086 microprocessor in minimum mode and the maximum mode. So that is MN by MX. So these all are the Viva questions which you can expect from 8086 pin diagram. Along with the pin number, you should remember the functionality of the pin. Then only you can understand clearly the further concepts which you are going to study about the 8086 microprocessor. Okay, how many grounds are there in 8086 microprocessor? How many grounds are there in this pin diagram? Tell me.
2.
2 grounds. What are the pin numbers?
1 and 20.
Yeah, 1 and 20. So in the same way we need to tell. Where is VCC? What is the pin number of VCC?
40.
40. So AD0 to AD14. Tell me the pin numbers. AD0 to AD14. What are the pin numbers?
AD0.
AD0 to AD14. Tell me what are the pin numbers?
16 to 2.
16, 15, 14.
So which are ranging from top to 2 to 316, right? And where
Yes.
are the AD15 to AD19? Can you find?
From 35 to 38.
Yeah, here you have. So AD15 to AD19. So 19 to 15. Yes or no? So one side, if you observe them clearly, half of the pins are AD0 to AD14 and 2 grounds. So one side it is very easy for you to learn the pin diagram, but another side is somewhat difficult. One side it is easy. So one side what you have? AD0 to AD14 and 2 grounds. Together how many you are covering?
16.
16 or
17.
17? Yeah.
17.
17. And remember, remaining 3 are NMI, INTR clock. Yes or no? Here you have NMI, INTR clock. So one side it is very much easy to remember the pins, but another side it will take some time to remember these pin diagrams. So one side is completely you have AD0 to AD14, 2 grounds, NMI, INTR and the clock. So these are 20 pins. Now you know, and it is very easy for you to round this write the information about this 20 pins also. That is not very difficult. Okay, but this side we need to concentrate. And how we are going to do all of these things, so I'll explain you in the next class.
Sir,
Fine? Yeah.
on pin number 31, what is the hold?
Hold,
In the
I
bracket.
will explain you. I'll explain all of these things. Hold, acknowledgement and write, memory by IO. I will tell all of these things. In detail,
Okay.
I'll explain all of these pins. So no need to worry. 40 pins, I'll give the description.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. and this is like minimum and the maximum mode you have. So if you are using minimum mode, this one will act, and if you are using maximum mode, this one will comes into the picture. 2 you are having, right, from 31 to 24. You can see
Yes.
here 24 to 30. So if he is asking minimum, you should go with as it is. If he is asking maximum, then you should go with this and replace all of these things with these pins.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So tomorrow I'll explain. I like in the next class I'll explain. So about this 8086 pins, and at that time make sure that you should have one paper and pen with you to note down the important points. Okay. So if you have any queries, you can stay back and remaining students can leave and done with the class.